Hello, Cancer. Welcome to Soul Good. I'm Amber Marie, and this is your April 2023 Tarotscope. In the description box below, you will find all sorts of goodies, including a timestamp if you would like to jump to the start of the reading. But before you do that, I would like to remind you that this is a collective reading, not a personal reading. So please be very discerning and take only what resonates with you and leave the rest. I would also like to share with you, Cancer, that I definitely feel like these energies or what may come through in this reading is being very focused on or is coming in focused with that solar eclipse energy that we have happening on the 20th of this month, and then with Mercury retrograde following it. Okay, so, though you may have already experienced some of these things or been experiencing some of the things that are coming through, I just really feel like that solar eclipse energy and that Mercury retrograde, energy is going to be bringing it into focus, right? Bringing things up or really kicking things off in some way, shape, or form. Okay, so please do keep that in mind as we move through this reading. Now, before we jump in, I do want to share with you that as I was shuffling and preparing for your reading, in two separate decks, I actually saw references to the Father. Now, what I was picking up on with that is essentially like Divine Father. Okay. And I look at this from not a dogmatic religion perspective, as in Father, like religious God, um, but in a more heavenly Father, creator type of way, a loving and just Father. Okay. And I do feel like for some of you, you could have been actually finding your way back to God or feeling called to God. And again, not in a religious sense. Okay. Though you may have went searching there. Okay. I feel like dogmatic religion is likely not deep enough for you. It's not esoteric enough. Right. And this is something that's come up already in some other readings as well. So, I really feel like for some of you, there's kind of been this pull, even maybe a whisper to find your way back to God, and you may have been doing things to try to create or establish that connection. And for others of you, I feel like it's been more about you seeking God out, even though, how would you say, I don't, it's interesting because it's not so much like God's been whispering to you, though I kind of feel like God always is whispering to us, of course. But I feel like there's been something where it's like I want to understand, right? Like I want to understand God, or perhaps you felt like there was a piece of you missing, and the place that you turned to was God, right? um, for to try to understand yourself more or something like that. Okay, very interesting. I just looked up and saw 333, which actually is, if you have any Gemini in your chart, there may be something there for you, because that was a number that came up for Gemini as well. But threes are about growth. Okay, it's also about completion of a phase, but 333 specifically, according to one of my favorite numerology websites, Joanne Sacred Scribes, is about having faith in humanity, right? Trusting that everything will work out. Also, it is something that points to ascended masters and angels being with you and helping you. Okay, so just interesting little tidbits before we jump in. But let's take a look. I actually am very excited to share this spread with you, Cancer. It's something that dropped into my field at the end of March, and I've been kind of waiting for a green light. And so I'm very excited to see how this information may come through for you and how it might be helpful for you. So let's jump right in. Please, Father, Mother, Life, Universe, Spirits, Guides, Angels, our cosmic team, our ancestors, our higher selves, what can Cancer do to align with their highest timeline and Christ consciousness this month, please? That was fast. Thank you. One card, straight to the point. I love that. Okay, what is helping Cancer to evolve this month, please? I actually just heard healing. That may be, thank you. That may resonate for some of you. Okay. What is limiting Cancer's evolution this month, please? Okay. All right. And can we please have some advice, encouragement, or guidance for Cancer? Okay, that was strange, but okay, we'll go with it. Those came out weird. All right, so what can you do to align with your highest timeline Christ consciousness? So you do have your Anunnaki light codes, energetic shift, new information, end of a cycle. Like I said with those threes, completion of a phase, right? So I feel like the big thing here for you, Cancer, what you can do is really allow new information to come in. I also feel like there's a big call here for you to educate yourself further, especially on spiritual type things, spiritual practices, these sorts of things. And I mean this in like a scholarly type of way, to like really delve into spirituality and spiritual healing. Yeah. Because I think the more that you learn about it, it's super fascinating to me, Cancer. I just feel like there's like this thirst for information. Like there's this need for knowledge. I mean, and you could find this by looking at, and I want to emphasize, like, I'm not talking about dogmatic religion here, but you could find answers that you're seeking in, let's say, maybe Eastern religions, like Eastern mystery schools, or Western sides of this as well, right? So maybe looking at things like, I don't know, Buddhism or Hinduism or something like that, if you feel called to those types of spiritual types of evolution or practices, or looking at more maybe the Western side of things, so things like esoteric Christianity, anthroposophy, theosophy, cosmology, things like this, where it has a more how would you say, like, I would say like spiritual science, as Gigi Young would put it. She has a fantastic channel on YouTube if that is something that you're curious about, okay? But I really feel like that there's something here about opening up to new information and allowing this stuff to come in, okay? Because I do feel like this, for whatever reason for you, I feel like this solar eclipse that we have here coming up in Aries, and then a Mercury retrograde in Taurus immediately following that. Also the sun entering Taurus on the same day as the eclipse, so that would be the 20th, right? I feel like this is bringing forward for you, or could potentially bring forward for you, the end of a cycle, and it may push you. I feel like I'm seeing it as like pushing you forward to try to help you to evolve, to try to help you to ascend, right? To really truly align you with that highest timeline. And Christ consciousness, right? Christ consciousness is really done through the heart space, through the opening of the heart. And the only way that we can truly ascend, that we can truly spiritualize, and you may have heard this in more New Age spirituality being referred to as like ascension or new earth or things like that. The only way that you can truly spiritualize and ascend is by purifying your heart. So that means healing, like authentically healing, really working to purify yourself and open your heart, and align with that Christ impulse, which again, Gigi Young has a fantastic channel on YouTube, and she goes incredibly deep into these topics. So if you are looking for knowledge on these sorts of things, that would be a really great place to start. Yeah, I feel like this is really about you allowing yourself to align with that highest timeline and Christ consciousness by creating shifts, by allowing new information to come in, and allowing certain things to end, letting things go, releasing things that are no longer serving you, especially things that are around certain, I'm getting beliefs, pain, trauma, suffering. These are words that are coming in. Okay, so take those as it resonates with you. Let's take a look at what's helping you to evolve. You have a nice, healthy stack here, so let's jump in. We do have Angel, helping those in need with no expectation of return. So these things are helping you to align with Christ consciousness for sure, and definitely helping you to evolve, right? When we look at Christ, had that big open heart, right? Very compassionate, very kind, empathetic, graceful, right? So these things are definitely helping you to evolve, definitely helping you to keep your heart more open. But it's interesting to me, I just want to comment because I feel like I should, and I'm not going to hold anything back. I do feel like for whatever reason there is this offering of this support, right? As I would say, I would call you like an earth angel of sorts, um, in that sense. But I feel like, how would you say? I feel like you don't extend that same to yourself. I don't know. I hope that makes sense. So for example, like you could bend over to do things for other people, but I don't feel like you welcome that or receive that well from others. Okay, or if you do receive it, I feel like you question it or something. But still, I feel like you offering yourself in service to other people is definitely helping you to evolve. Okay, you also have your athlete dedication, pardon me, and the let me just back up and slow down. You have athlete in the upright or light attribute position here as well, which is dedication to transcending physical limits, including handicaps, development of personal willpower, and strength of spirit. So here's the thing. I feel like what's helping you to evolve is the desire to literally evolve. Right? Like I feel like there's some aspect of yourself, even if you are clinging on to old paradigms, old beliefs, pains, traumas, these sorts of things. I feel like there is an aspect of you that wants to transcend these things, that wants to alchemize them, that wants to move through them. I just feel like maybe you haven't found a way to be able to do that. Not fully, right? And not with everything. Which I mean, this is a whole ass life journey. Okay. So I don't feel like, it's one of those things where you get it all with one go, as it were, or all at the same time, right? This is an unfolding throughout your life. But I feel like there's that willpower to develop self and to develop your own personal strength, whether that be your mind, your spirit, your body, your knowledge base, or your lexicon, right? Like I feel like there's that want to be able to do that, even if you don't know where to start, or maybe you're inconsistent is the word I'm getting. I feel like that want being there is a big aspect of what's helping you to evolve, even if, again, regardless of pace. Okay, regardless of pace. Oh, so I just have to point out something here. Okay, you have a lot of A's showing up. So we have Anunnaki here, A, angel with A, an athlete with A. So that could be something that's important to someone listening. It could be a um, initial of somebody important to you, or something. Um, I don't know, for whatever reason, A's may be important to you. Okay, we also have the Knight here in the reverse or shadow attribute position. Allegiance to a destructive ruler or principle, romantic delusions. So here's the thing. I feel like this is probably not going to be easy for some people to hear. I just want to say that because it's definitely not easy for me to say. But again, I'm always going to be very truthful. So again, with an A, which is fascinating to me, I just feel like I need to reiterate that for someone, an A initial or maybe, you know, multiple A's in an initial of a name or something could be important. But we have here, like, what's helping you to evolve, right? And we have allegiance to a destructive ruler or principle and romantic delusions. So for some of you, I feel like you could be in karmic relationships. Okay. And again, these are probably not things that many want to hear. But I feel like these romantic delusions could be helping you to heal aspects of yourself, especially those aspects of you that is willing to go above and beyond without expecting anything in return. Okay. So some of you may be giving and giving and giving in romantic relationships, and you are not getting that same back, right? So for example, if you're helping and you have no expectation of getting anything in return, or you're giving and giving and giving and are not expecting anything in return and aren't receiving anything in return, right? But you're like, oh, it's okay, it's just what I do. Like no, that's imbalance. Okay, so I feel like it's teaching you something. Or for example, if you are with somebody who does not actively work on developing themselves, their willpower, their strength of spirit, this could also be something that is being shown to you, or you could be in that dynamic to help you evolve yourself. Okay, because it could be showing you, for example, let's say you are working actively on trying to develop your spirituality, your spirit, your soul. You're trying to evolve. You're trying to spiritualize. Even if those aren't maybe terms that you've put on it, right? For you, maybe it's just about growing, becoming better, okay? And your romantic partner, let's say, is not doing that. They have no desire. They think they're fine just how they are. Right? This could be showing you what that looks like when you don't give that energy, or when, you know, it could be showing you what the dynamic can do to someone who is actively doing these things. Because I want to lovingly say, and I truly mean that, when you're actively developing your spirituality and you're trying to grow and expand and evolve, if you are around consistently people who are not doing that, it will literally run you dry. It will drain you dry. It will completely they'll pull on your energy. They will be vampiric, and just you'll feel like you are depleted. Okay. Now I want to lovingly say, I feel like this, it's interesting because it does say here romantic delusions, which I definitely feel applies here. And I feel like some of you are like, holy shit, while I'm talking about these things. But there are others of you where I feel like it's not romantic necessarily. I feel like it could be just around people in general, like friends or coworkers or communities or circles or something to that degree. But there is also here allegiance to a destructive ruler or principle. And again, right, let's, like I was saying, if you are giving and giving and giving, but you're not getting anything in return, that is destructive to you. That is you emptying your cup, and ultimately that can create things like burnout, which can, in the long run, manifest in your physical body, okay, as dis-ease, as illness, as these sorts of things. Now, I am not a doctor. I do not and cannot give medical advice. Okay, I'm just a girl on YouTube. But I'm just saying. I'm just saying that if you are depleting yourself, your energies, your emotions, everything you're giving, everything to someone or something else, and getting nothing in return, it can absolutely manifest in your body. Absolutely. Okay. Okay, so let's see what else you have here. You have the Thief in the reverse or shadow attribute position. Stealing money, creative ideas, affection, or other powers you think you lack. Hey. So I just want to say something before I dive into this card deeper. Um, as I flipped it over, like my stomach started hurting. And I almost feel like I'm like my stomach is empty and it's kind of creating this like nauseous type of feeling. Which again, like I was saying, things for me as a reader, right? I was talking about things manifesting in your body. For me as a reader, tapping into certain energies, things will manifest in my body to show me, you know, what or to give me a thread of what some of these things are creating, or to let me know what these energies are. Um, and it's interesting to me because I feel like there's two sides of this. I feel like one is that this could be someone in your external experience, right? Because we have this knight here, which is an allegiance to a destructive ruler, okay, or romantic delusions. So I feel like this thief energy could be something that is outside of yourself, where they are literally stealing from you money or you know, affection or other powers that they themselves think that they lack. Okay, so for example, if someone is not confident in themselves, if they don't feel secure in themselves, if they don't love themselves, and you, let's say, are trying to focus on yourself, right, through you know, learning how to heal and spiritual practices and these sorts of things, this is somebody who could really like thieve that from you. And what I mean by that is they could put you in a position where you feel like you have no other choice but to give them what they want. Okay, I'm actually getting fear coming up as well. And this is especially true for those who just give without expecting things in return. Okay. um and I feel like it's because they cannot or have not been able to create that within themselves, and so they have to pull it from you. Okay. um so that could be an aspect of this, and it is helping you to evolve. I want to lovingly say, though it may be painful to hear, though this may not be something that you're like super excited about, because why would you be? um you know, I feel like it is something that can most definitely help you to evolve, because it can show you where you need to create boundaries, where you need to you know, stand up for yourself, or where you need to give back to yourself, right, give to yourself the same things that you are willing to give others, where there needs to be balance created, harmony created. Okay, now if this is you, um I mean, here's the thing, right? You can take one of two streams of consciousness, either the Christ impulse or the antichrist impulse. Um, and with this being in the shadow attribute, and we're talking about a thief stealing money, stealing creative ideas, stealing affection, or other powers that you think you lack, I feel like it has the potential to help you to evolve, if you allow yourself to become aware of it. For there are some that I feel like may be doing this and don't even realize that they're doing it. Okay. This may be something where it's like I don't want to see myself, right? And I'm gonna lovingly say that if you are doing these things, it will come out. It will. And with that solar eclipse energy and that Mercury retrograde energy, it's very karmic. So if this is something that you've been doing, I want to lovingly forewarn you that you may be exposed with this eclipse energy, with this retrograde energy. I'm also very fascinated, like these are both blue. And blue is often a color that is connected with Archangel Michael, who is the master protector, or, you know, a protective archangel. And so if you're experiencing these things, like, I feel like it's being brought to your attention to protect you, to redirect you for your protection. Whether that be your protection from yourself or protection from another person. Okay. Another blue, again, we have the priest here in the reverse or shadow attribute position, violates the trust of your spiritual community, seduced by your own spiritual role. Hoy, okay. This is interesting because even though it's also blue, and it is also for your protection, I feel, this kind of feels separate. I don't know that this will resonate with everybody. Because I feel like there are some of you who may have experienced certain, actually the word I'm getting is atrocities, or maybe this is somebody close to you, but I feel like for some there may be some who have experienced certain atrocities around spiritual figures. Okay. And I feel like, though this may be, again, difficult to hear, these things do happen for us. These things do help us to evolve. They can be very traumatic. They can be painful, again, atrocious. They can be horrific. They can be all sorts of things, but they are for us to evolve, to encourage our evolution, to look that darkness in the face and choose to rise. Okay, I'm being brought to, you know, Christ experiencing what he did. And again, I'm not coming at this from a religious space, okay? Or a dogmatic religious space or dogmatic religion space, but what Christ experienced, right? That was something that was horrific. And he was still able to forgive and still able to ascend, to evolve his soul. Okay? Again, these are not things that are easy to talk about, but I'm not going to avoid them simply because they're not easy. Now, we also have here seduced by your own spiritual role. This feels less likely to me. However, for whatever reason, it feels to me almost like there's a lack of spirituality, or maybe spiritual bypassing, even, where there's been this seduction in that regard. Right? Like, so for example, let's say some of you are like completely disconnected from God, and you are now seduced by that aspect, like that spiritual role. Like, oh, well, you know, what has God ever done for me? Like, I'm doing perfectly fine without God, or something. I don't know why I'm hearing these things, but something like this. Take it if it resonates with you, okay? But even again, these things could be helping you to evolve if you choose to see them, if you choose to move through them, if you choose to change them. Could be showing you, like, this is not how you evolve. This is not how you shift your energy. This is not how you align with your highest timeline, right? Oftentimes we have to be shown the darkness so we can discern the light. Okay? So let's take a look at here at what's limiting your evolution. We do have the mediator in the reverse or shadow attribute position, negotiating with an ulterior motive or hidden agenda, either personally or professionally. So here's the thing about this. I'm just going to say this very plainly. If you lie, you align with an Antichrist stream. Okay, you are not in alignment with your soul self. You're not in alignment with your heart. You're truly okay. So if you're doing things to try to have a particular outcome, right? And again, like, this is negotiating with an ulterior motive or hidden agenda, like lying. Okay, anytime that you do those things, you align yourself with a lower frequency, and there is a need to remedy that. You have to fix it. And I know, like, that may be hard to hear because we live in what Gigi Young called a fast food world, which is very true. It could not be closer to the truth, right? Where we want everything right now. We want everything easy. We want it to just be fixed like that. And unfortunately, that's not how spirituality works. We could not grow if it was that easy. This is a school. Earth is a school, and we're meant to be learning and evolving through all of these lessons. And you can't learn things if there's an easy fix button for everything. If you can just, for example, if you could just call daddy, okay, let's refer to God as daddy for a second. If you could just call daddy and say, hey, come fix this for me, you don't learn nothing. We've all seen the freaking teen movies. Okay, we know it doesn't do anything. It doesn't work. So I feel like there's this energy here of, like, what's limiting your evolution. Any time that you are doing anything with any ulterior motive or hidden agenda, whether that be, and it can even be so much as, I want to say this so lovingly, Cancer, for you to look good, right? And I mean, again, take this as it resonates, because this, I want to say once again, this is a collective reading, not a personal reading. So there may be bits and pieces in here that apply to you and some that don't. Okay, use your discernment. You know your truth. Okay, so if you are someone who is doing these things, know that it is limiting your evolution. Know that it is something that will slow you down, because you're going to have to remedy that. Okay, and again, this could be for either personal or professional reasons. So let's say, for example, you have a certain history or track record, and you go to apply for a job and you're like, no, I have no problems, nothing. Right? That is still negotiating something with ulterior motives or hidden agendas. Right? Because you're trying to deceive somebody to get what you want. We also have, damn, what is this? There's so much blue. So much blue. You have the bully here in the shadow or reverse position. Conceals deep fears behind verbal or physical abuse. Okay. Again, and you guys, I want to lovingly say, like, these could be people in your experience that are limiting you because of these things. Okay, so if you're listening to this and you're like, okay, that's not me, but that's definitely this person in my life, know that that is limiting your evolution. Okay? And I want to lovingly say, like, anytime that you're inflicting pain on someone else, you're going to limit your evolution, period. Whether that be verbal, physical, emotional, whatever it is, because you're going to have to remedy it. You're going to have to atone. Okay? So it's interesting to me, because I feel like, and I don't know who this is for or why or what it's about, But I'm like getting this picture in my head of like somebody kind of like almost be the best way I can describe this is almost being like very like arrogant or even snobbish, um, putting people down, being a bully, right? Like I'm better. Um, and you know, this is it's going to limit you because you have to atone for it. If this is somebody doing things to you in this way, you know, verbally abusing you or physically abusing you, there's two sides of this. Like one, there's this could be limiting your evolution if you're allowing it to happen. You're not standing up for yourself. You're not creating boundaries. You're not taking your power back. You're not moving into a sovereign space. You're not claiming your sovereignty. That can be very limiting to you, from the person who is inflicting this, okay, or doing this. You're limiting your evolution by not confronting your fears, by not facing yourself, by not healing whatever it is that has caused you to think that this is okay, right? There's healing that needs to be done around that self-loathing, that angry, fearful energy. Yeah, that's a rough one. It's not definitely not things that are easy to talk about, but you know, they are facets of our reality, and they are things that need to be addressed, and you will have to, again, you'll have to atone for them one way or the other, right? So you know, you either heal these things and atone and deal with it in this lifetime, you know, or work towards healing it in this lifetime, or you come back and do it again, right? Like, there's, again, I'm being reminded of a quote from Christ Returns, the Christ Returns book, which is like, man cannot escape what he says, does, thinks. Cannot escape it. You create a consciousness pattern and it will find its way back to you. Okay, we also have here in the reverse the Exorcist, which is fear of facing your own demons. Yeah, certainly. Certainly. This is very plainly said. I almost don't even feel like I have anything else to add. What is limiting your evolution? The fear of not facing your shit. Whole it absolutely. And here's the thing I want to say: there are beings and entities that have gone into a devolutionary state or a regressive type of state because they have failed their spiritual initiations. What does that mean? They're not healing. They're running. They're not facing their shit. Again, take it as it resonates with you, right? Maybe this will not click with you or resonate with you. If you want to learn more about these things, again, I would encourage you to look into Gigi Young's YouTube channel. Here, she has a plethora of information available and delivers it in very easily digestible ways that some other spiritual adepts from the past is not as digestible or palatable. Okay, but this will, yeah, fear of facing yourself, dealing with your stuff, healing your stuff will absolutely limit your evolution. Absolutely, without question. And finally, we have the saboteur in the upright or light attribute position. Highlight your fear of self empowerment and the changes it would bring to your life. Okay, so it's interesting because again, we're looking at what's limiting your evolution. And it feels to me like, for whatever reason, there could be a fear of, yeah, okay, so I'm getting this heavily, especially with this like this bully card and this, yeah, more specifically like this bully card, but also this fear of facing one's own demons. Um, I definitely feel like this comes into play with limiting your evolution in the sense of, so for example, if you are in a abusive situation and you refuse to stand up for yourself, right? That's that fear of empowerment. That is the fear of what changes that could bring. If you're reliant on someone for, say, a home, and you aren't willing to stand up for yourself while being physically or verbally abused, right? That is the fear of the changes. Like, oh, what am I going to do? And I've, I know, okay, I know what that feels like, okay, but it will limit your growth. It will limit your evolution to be in fear of empowering yourself, to allow someone to hold that over you. Okay? I feel I also feel like there's this element here of that fear of facing your own demons, in the sense of like it limiting you because there's a fear of what changes it will bring once you face them, right? How what does that mean? So for example, if you facing your demons means you letting go of an entire identity that you've built up around some of these things that you've experienced or taken part in, right? That can be super scary. If you've built your whole identity upon something, and you're now facing these things and moving through these things and empowering yourself and growing and becoming better, what does that mean then? Who are you then? Right? What is X amount of years that you've been alive, right? Maybe it's 30, maybe it's 40, maybe it's 50 or 60. What does that mean for all of that span of time? Right? Again, can be very scary, but it will absolutely limit your evolution. Okay? So, for advice, encouragement, or guidance, you do have here spiritual abundance. Thank you, angels, for blessing me with infinite abundance. So, I feel like what you need to know here is that um, there's an interesting message here about essentially, I feel like some of you've given so much, right? It's like how could abundance not find you? There's also a message here of like, don't be afraid of giving to yourself, for example. How would you say, it's interesting, um because for some reason I feel like there's this, if I give to myself, like how can I give to other people, or how will I have enough to give to other people? And I feel like there's this message coming through of like that there's infinite abundance available, right? There's not a cap on it. So you can give, right, and give to yourself and still have enough to give to other people. It's about balance though, right? It's about finding that balance. Okay, we also have here Archangel Jophiel, honor your beauty. Thank you, Jophiel, for helping me to discover my inner and outer beauty, which I think is very connected here to this angel card and athlete card, where it's really giving a lot to others and wanting to improve, wanting to grow, wanting to be better. I feel like that's a big aspect of this. In addition to that, if you are somebody who has been or experienced, verbal or physical abuse, or a bully, or feeling like you're not enough or something like this, you're not having these energies reciprocated to you, I feel like the angels are showing up, especially Archangel Jophiel here, to say you are beautiful both inside and out. You are deserving of that same reciprocation. Jophiel is the bringer of joy, right? So I feel like there's this advice here or encouragement to say you are deserving of joy. You are deserving of honoring yourself. Okay. We also have here, yeah, spiritual support. Dear angels, I allow you to support me as I grow and become more spiritually aware. Absolutely. Right? The angels can help you to the pardon me, to the degree at which you allow them to. And I feel like this is the angels letting you know that they are available to do that should you allow them. Okay. I'm also getting fear. I don't know why, I feel like some of you may have felt like you've been abandoned by angels or something. And that's absolutely not the case, right? You may have pushed them away or stopped seeking their help or something, shut down, closed your heart down to them for some reason, something you've experienced or something. But I feel like they're showing up today to let you know that they're absolutely there to support you and will be there. You are never without an angel, but opening up to them is going to be a requirement from you because you do have free will. Yes, I knew it. I knew Archangel Michael was going to show up, right? You are protected. Like I said earlier, that is your protection. You being redirected. You're being redirected. Okay, so things happening, people showing up in your experience that are unpleasant, painful, that cause suffering or heartbreak or grief or some sort of bereavement, right, are showing you things, right? You're being redirected for your own protection. And oftentimes, like, the only way that that can happen is through it being shown to you, you experiencing it, right? I think this is absolutely beautiful. Just because I felt, Lisa, I think I said something about the blue and Archangel Michael. I may have said it in another reading as well. So if I didn't say something, it was definitely there. But again, Archangel Michael is that master protector. He is often associated with the color blue, as you can see here, right? And is one who, again, kind of is helps to redirect us in order to protect us, right? Archangel Michael is often has the sword here and is cutting these cords, as it were. And so, I feel like if there are things that are being exposed in your experience that maybe are uncomfortable or aren't necessarily pleasant or are painful, like, know that they are happening for you. Okay. It says here, thank you, Michael, for surrounding me with your protective light. And I certainly feel that you could call upon Archangel Jophiel and or Archangel Michael to help you as you move through these energies, as you create these energetic shifts, try to close out these cycles, and also welcoming in new information. But I would encourage you to use your discernment, to develop that if you have not yet. So that if you are going to call upon particular angels, that that they are beings, are those actual entities or those beings, okay? Because there are impersonators out there in the ethers who are essentially energetic vampires. They're parasites, and they will, if you don't know any better, insert themselves into your experience. So discernment is incredibly important. And I feel like I also need to say, just so you're not freaking out, that you do have a guardian angel with you at all times. And so you have the power within you to also essentially claim your sovereignty, right? I do not consent to anything. Okay. So very little interesting tidbit there to come in at the end, but I felt like I needed to say it. So I hope that this is helpful for you. Thank you so much, Cancer, for joining me. I truly do appreciate your time, your energy, your attention, and your company. It's been an absolute pleasure to read for you. I pray that something here is helpful for you in some way, shape, or form, or valuable for you as you navigate the rest of your month. If something has resonated here for you, please do the YouTube things by liking, sharing, commenting below, or subscribing. It really does help the channel to grow and tells YouTube that there may be something important here for someone else to see. And I truly do appreciate that so very much. Again, I pray that this month for you does bring incredible insights, does allow you to create massive shifts that do allow you to align with your highest timeline and Christ consciousness, bringing the end to a cycle that may have been painful or difficult for you. I am sending you so much love. Peace be with you and within you. Take care of your beautiful soul, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.